Long before the arrival of modern fertilizers, Iron Age farmers faced the same struggle that gardeners and growers wrestle with today: how to keep soil productive season after season without exhausting it. What makes their achievement remarkable is that they sustained crops for centuries using methods rooted in observation, discipline, and a deep respect for the natural cycles of fertility. Their survival depended entirely on soil health, and the systems they developed laid the foundations of sustainable agriculture. Understanding their practices is not just a matter of history, it's a guidebook for anyone who wants to build fertile soil without reliance on synthetic inputs. Iron Age farmers understood that continuous planting of the same crop drained the land. Repeated barley or wheat harvests left the soil thin and unproductive, and they saw the results within just a few seasons. To prevent collapse, they rotated crops deliberately. Cereal grains were alternated with legumes such as peas, vetch or beans. Legumes, though the science of nitrogen fixation was unknown to them, were observed to leave the soil stronger for the next crop. Fields that hosted peas one season produced fuller heads of barley the next. Rotation was not random, you know. It followed cycles that matched both soil needs and seasonal rhythms. In some communities, two-field systems emerged, where one field was planted while the other rested or, carried a different type of crop. Others developed three-field patterns, adding further diversity. The principle was consistent. The soil was never treated as an endless well to be drawn from, but as a living partner that needed rest and renewal. The practice of fallowing, leaving a field unplanted, was a central method of soil maintenance in the Iron Age, but fallow did not mean abandonment. During these resting periods, natural processes restored fertility. Rain brought minerals back into circulation, grasses and wild herbs covered the ground, and grazing animals were often allowed to feed on the fallow fields. Their manure returned essential nutrients directly into the soil. This practice built resilience. Instead of pushing land to its limit year after year, farmers allowed time for the earth to recover. Modern soil science confirms what they knew through trial and error. Fallowing rebuilds organic matter and microbial life, both of which are critical for long-term fertility. In Iron Age settlements, livestock were absolutely essential, you see. Animals were not just there for meat or milk. No, their manure was a valuable resource. It was collected, stored, and then applied quite deliberately to the fields. Farmers observed quite keenly that crops grew much stronger where dung had been spread, and so this practice became a routine part of managing the fields. Now, cattle, sheep, pigs and horses each played their own unique role. Manure was often mixed with bedding materials like straw, creating what we might call an early form of compost. This blend, added both nutrients and organic matter which improved the soil structure while feeding the next crop. And interestingly enough, the application of manure also encouraged worms and other soil life, keeping the earth nice and loose as well as aerated. For those Iron Age farmers, animals were like moving fertility factories, recycling grass and fodder back into the land. Fire, too, was a constant presence in their communities. The byproducts of burning, they became tools for caring for the soil. Wood ash, which is rich in potassium and lime, was spread onto the fields. This helped to balance acidity and promote healthy plant growth, wouldn't you say? Charred remains from hearths or burned clearings were also incorporated into the soil, increasing its ability to hold moisture and nutrients. This practice echoed what we now recognize in biochar, a material proven to enhance microbial activity and carbon stability in the soil. Iron Age farmers lacked the terminology, but they observed the outcomes. Where ash was scattered, yields improved and crops looked healthier. It was a practical recycling of what would otherwise be waste. Though they did not call them green manures, Iron Age farmers made use of natural vegetation to enrich their land. Weeds and wild plants that sprouted during fallow periods were often ploughed back into the soil. This returned organic matter, improved tilth, and recharged fertility. Some plants, like clover or vetch, were encouraged precisely because they prepared the field for the next round of cereals. This was not wasteful, but intentional. Farmers worked with what the land provided, using vegetation cycles to restore fertility. Modern regenerative agriculture echoes the same principle. Living roots feed microbes, and decaying plants rebuild humus. Soil fertility was not only about nutrients, it was also about water. So, Iron Age farmers managed water carefully, building ditches, terraces and small channels to prevent erosion and, well, to hold moisture in the ground. By preventing nutrient runoff and keeping soil from washing away, they preserved fertility across generations. Drainage systems also reveal their awareness of balance. Oversaturated soils were drained to prevent rot and compaction, while dry soils were helped by channels that spread rainfall more evenly. In both cases, fertility was protected by controlling water flow. Perhaps the most powerful tool of Iron Age farmers was shared knowledge. Soil fertility was maintained not by one technique alone, but by a web of practices honed over generations. Communities observed which soils supported which crops, when manuring was most effective, and how long land should rest. These insights were passed down, tested and adjusted through time. Their methods remind us that soil health is not about chasing quick fixes, but about respecting cycles. By combining rotation, fallow manure, ash and water management, they built fertility systems that endured for centuries without external fertilizer inputs. For the modern gardener, the story of Iron Age soil fertility offers more than history. It offers a blueprint. Their reliance on organic matter, crop diversity, and rest mirrors what today's best soil science teaches. They demonstrate that fertility is not a product you buy, but a relationship you build. Adding organic matter, respecting rest periods, recycling what the land gives, and valuing animal and microbial contributions are principles that remain timeless. The key takeaway is patience. Iron Age farmers understood that soil was alive and that its strength came from long cycles of renewal. In a world that pushes for instant results, their approach offers a corrective. Fertility comes from building slowly, respecting limits, and allowing nature to restore itself. The Iron Age farmers may not have spoken in terms of microbes or humus, but their practical methods shaped the land in ways we can still learn from. They remind us that soil health is less about control and more about cooperation. By applying even a fraction of their practices, thoughtful rotations, organic inputs, fallow cycles and natural recycling, today's gardeners can create fertile ground that lasts. If this historical deep dive has given you new respect for the wisdom of past farmers, make sure to subscribe to In the Beginning for more explorations into the old knowledge that still shapes how we grow today. Share this guide with fellow gardeners and history enthusiasts so the lessons of the Iron Age continue to inspire soil stewards in every generation.